Welcome to the SadCast. My name is Nick Johnson, and I will be the host of this podcast covering the benefits exercise, specifically lifting weights, has on depression. I am blessed to have here with two amazing people, Grace and Daniel.
Hi, I'm Grace, and I'm a psychology major at UNL, and I'm super excited to be here.
Awesome.
Hi, my name is Daniel. It is really fun to work with Nick and Grace on this project. I'm excited to begin this podcast.
Mental illness affects millions of people worldwide, with depression being one of the most common. In a study performed by the Anxiety and Depression Association of America in 2018, it was found that depression affects nearly 1 in 10 adults in the United States of America. That's over 30 million people.
That's a lot of people. That is an interesting stat. Now that we know how important this topic is, let's begin. Daniel is one of my good friends, and he has been suffering from moderate depression for the past couple years now, and it has been growing worse due to the transition from high school to college. Going through a similar situation myself, I found that exercising daily has greatly improved my mental state. Working towards something every day and bettering myself in the process really helped me mentally.
That's right, Nick. When I was depressed, I found that taking antidepressants prescribed to me really didn't have the effect I wanted them to. I still felt sad often. I would say they helped a little, but not to the level I wanted them to. And they also came with some side effects. I had trouble sleeping, I put on weight, and I just didn't really feel that good about myself. So when Nick brought up his research idea to me, I was intrigued. He told me there was a better way to deal with my depression than taking antidepressants with no side effects.
Yeah, absolutely. There definitely is a better way. So studies have shown that by exercising daily, levels of stress, anxiety, and depression can be reduced.
Mental illness affects people mentally and physically. Specifically, a depressed individual will have less serotonin, known as the happy chemical, in our bodies. When you work out, you release chemicals, which triggers your prefrontal cortex into delivering endorphins throughout your body, creating a more positive mental state.
Yeah, that's right. So when Daniel opened up about his depression with me, I knew I had to help. When I researched about this topic extensively, there were many studies that looked at the benefits of doing cardiovascular exercises like running, biking, and swimming to improve mental illnesses like depression, but not a single one on lifting weights. Knowing that Daniel and many of the other subjects had a strong dislike towards cardio, I wondered if lifting weights had a similar effect. So my research idea was that I bring Daniel and a few other friends along with me to the recreational center here on campus every day for a 3-week period. The other three wanted to remain anonymous. I divided them up into 2 groups of 2, one doing weighted exercises while the other group did cardio exercises. Due to the limited number of people I could find for the study, I was unable to have a controlled group. After every workout, I asked them to simply record in a journal of how they were feeling mentally that day, and the results were surprising. In this podcast, we will go over the results of the 3-week test with the subjects and the science behind the results. We will discuss whether lifting or cardio has a better effect on people suffering from depression. Now we are going to talk about the study.
Yeah, so for the study, Nick brought me and some other guys along with him to the gym every day, where we did a variety of workouts. I was in the lifting weights group, and the subject of lifting weights I didn't really have much experience doing. I didn't really lift weights beforehand. So we started easy, and I really just followed Nick's workout plans. Many of our workouts included basic movements such as bench press, squat, and deadlift.
Yeah, so my idea behind that was building a good foundation where they can progressively overload the exercises to become stronger and build as much muscle as possible in the 3-week period. Progressive overload is simply adding more weight every time you do the exercise. I wanted the subjects in the end to become more confident about their bodies because I believe a large factor of depression stems from body image issues.
Yeah, that's right, Nick. And it really wasn't easy, but I believe it helped me grow stronger physically and mentally in the process, and I also had a lot of fun doing it.
I'm really glad to hear that. Out of all the exercises you did in the 3-week period, which one do you think benefited you the most? What helped you the most?
Yeah. So the workouts you gave me, they really weren't easy to say the least. But I feel like they benefited me more when I thought they would at the start. They were definitely a physical challenge, but I feel like they were more of a mental battle for me. I felt like the harder the exercise, the more I was tested mentally, and now that I overcame something difficult, I feel more in control of my mental state.
Also, doing something difficult every day, you are creating a discipline in yourself. This helps you become better organized and more goal-oriented. By striving for goals and working to better yourself, this can greatly improve one's mental state. This is why I believe both lifting weights and cardio will decrease levels of depression. But seeing which one does it better will be interesting to say the least. By being active every day, you begin to better yourself and work towards goals for the future, clearing your mind in the process, thus decreasing levels of depression.
So getting into the study more. So first off, I was inspired to conduct my own research study after finding many scholarly articles about the effects cardio has on depression. One study in particular, performed in 2001, stood out, titled Benefits from Aerobic Exercise in Patients with Major Depression, a pilot study. They conducted a 10-week study in where 12 men and women were told to walk for 30 minutes a day, and it was concluded that, and I quote, aerobic exercise can produce substantial improvements in the mood in patients with major depressive disorders in a short time. I took inspiration out of this study when thinking of how I should conduct mine. I believe it went very smoothly through the 3 weeks, with 100% of the subjects experiencing mental benefits. I feel like it can be said, based on mine and other past studies, that the exercise performed doesn't matter as much as just simply getting up and being active. Being active truly does wonders to the mind and the body. Daniel will now go through one of his workouts and give you an idea of what they look like.
Yeah, so this was one of the harder workouts Nick gave me. This is the workout we did on April 11th, I think. So what we did is that we started with a 15-minute warm-up, and I used the foam roller to release some of that built-up tension in my muscles from the previous days. And I then proceeded to perform a pyramid set on squats, starting with only the bar to warm up and working up to around 75% of my 1 rep max. So I did 4 sets of 12 on the way up with increasing weights, and 4 sets of 8 on the way down with decreasing weights due to muscle fatigue, with a 2 to 3 minute resting period in between each set. After this, I performed 4 sets of 12 on the leg press. Sorry about that, I have trouble with words today. So what we did was I did 4 sets of 12 on the way up for the pyramid set with increasing weights, and 4 sets of 8 on the way back down with decreasing weights due to muscle fatigue, with 2 to 3 minute resting periods in between each set. After this, I think we performed 4 sets of 12 on the leg press, followed by 4 sets of 6 on Romanian deadlifts. And I finished off with a short 15-minute circuit of lunges and box jumps, alternating by 10 reps each. This was very difficult.
Yeah, that really does sound challenging. So, being that you completed a 3-week lifting study, how is this? Sorry about that. So, how has this helped you cope with the depression?
So I always saw depression as an impossible barrier to overcome, but by trying something new and really pushing myself like I never did before, I feel more in control with my mental state, and I feel like I can really accomplish anything by putting my mind to it and really just taking it one step at a time.
Yeah, like my piano teacher used to say when I was faced with a difficult piece, how do you eat an elephant? 1 bite at a time. So how has this study changed your lifestyle? Are you still being active in the gym every day like you were in the 3-week study?
Yeah, Nick, I am. So every day, it's definitely changed my lifestyle for the better. I feel like I can actually do something about my depression rather than taking like antidepressants, and I really feel happy, like long-term happiness for once, and it's really nice.
I'm really glad to hear that. Do you mind reading through a couple of your journal entries that you brought along with you?
Yeah, I guess I will. They're kind of embarrassing though.
Yeah, go ahead.
So I'll just read a couple here. This one goes back to one of the first days you had us work out, dated Tuesday, April 2nd. And I quote, "I don't know about this. I don't like leaving my comfort zone. It doesn't seem like this is going to help, but I trust Nick, so I'll give it a try. Am I supposed to be this sore? I can't even get out of bed." Yeah, that was after the workout. That one sucked. And one of the more recent ones, dated Monday, April 15th, and I quote, "Today is going to be great. I can't remember the last time I was happy that it's Monday. I can't wait to get started with the week, and feeling great, little sore, but it was a little normal," and that was after the workout. So as you can see, my attitude really changed for the better after that.
Yeah, thanks for sharing those. You can really see the difference there, and they're only 2 weeks apart. I also wanted to share one of my other subjects' journal entries in the cardio group, and he wanted to rename anonymous, and these were around 2 weeks apart as well. So this one was dated back to Monday, April 1st, and I quote, "Today was one of the worst days. Nick made me go to the rec today and run the treadmill for an hour. Everyone was judging me. This one was on Tuesday, April 16th. And I quote, 16 days in, I'm feeling like a completely different person. Really happy about the way I look. Definitely going to continue this after the 3 weeks is up. This is a similar situation to Daniel's, where they both dreaded their workout, but in the end, they both enjoyed it a lot and got a lot of benefits out of it. All the other subjects had very similar experiences with the study, and they're glad they did it. Coming out of your comfort zones sometimes isn't really a bad thing.
Now we are going to prove why the results were the way they are using scientific research. All the subjects experienced a great change in mental state as a result from either lifting weights or performing cardiovascular exercises. This change in mental state is greatly due to the release of endorphins, mainly from the pituitary gland into the body when one is performing any kind of exercise. These endorphins are called endogenous cannabinoids. They make it so when you were performing cardio exercises or lifting weights, your brain associates it with happiness and a stress reliever. This is why the individuals in the study had signs of decreased levels of depression shown in their journals and not reliant on their pills any longer. Dr. Miller, a psychiatry professor at Harvard, stated that in people who are depressed, neuroscientists have noticed that hippocampus in the brain, the region that helps regulate mood, is smaller. Exercise supports nerve cell growth in the hippocampus, improving nerve cell connections, which helps relieve depression.
That is a mouthful. So I have a question for you. Is it likely that there were many other factors leading to this conclusion?
It is likely, yes. We cannot prove the increase in mental state was solely on the exercise performed in the 3-week period, but I believe it was based on the exercises because all the subjects experienced lower levels of depression. Unless it was a coincidence, we can at least say that exercise is likely to help with depression and possible their mental illness.
So do you think exercise can help individuals suffering from any form of depression?
It depends on how severe the depression is. I have a quote from Dr. Miller saying that for some people it works as well as antidepressants, although exercise alone isn't enough for someone with severe depression. So with that being said, I don't believe exercise can make pre-existing conditions worse per se, but it definitely can benefit those individuals who don't have severe depression rather than taking pills with many side effects.
So will signs of depression stay away after this 3-week study is up?
They will most likely stay away if the subjects simply continue to exercise daily. The individual should pick something they enjoy that requires them to be active and on their feet, living a healthy lifestyle. If you do it every day, it increases habit, and a good habit is a new beginning.
Awesome. Well, thank you for that. So on this note, I'd like to wrap it up with the podcast by thanking you guys for taking the time out of your very busy schedules to come and do this with me. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, not a problem, Nick. Happy to be on.
I was very happy to help.
Thank you. All right, so 1 in 10 adults in the United States suffer from depression. Being such a serious and prevalent matter as it is, the only way we have to combat this is antidepressants. These come along with a number of side effects leading to an unhealthy lifestyle. But through daily exercise, an individual suffering from mild to moderate depression can see great improvements mentally and physically. A life full of pills was yesterday. Exercising for a healthy lifestyle is today. Thank you for listening.